Today you're here for one of our virtual Zoom meetings, events. We're hosting these weekly on Thursdays, and today's is strength training, and we alternate between strength and chair yoga, it's hosted by GoGo, and it's always led by Adra, and we're really grateful that she's here to be with us today and teach us some new things. You, of course, know GoGo for some things that you probably reached out to us for. Maybe it was rides or meals, grocery delivery. We also offer prescription delivery and now even home services. But in addition to that, we wanted to try out these events to see if this might be something that you look forward to in your week, and we hope that's the case. So today for our agenda, if you've been here before, you know the routine. Adra is going to remind us what our move of the week was last time, and so start thinking about that. And then we're just going to jump right into it. I'm Cassie. I'm GoGo's communications director. And of course, Adra is here with us. She's a yoga teacher, occupational therapist, overall great person. So with that, I will kick it over to Adra.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Now getting lots of familiar faces and familiar names, so nice to see you again. And I see maybe a few new people, so welcome. So for today's strength class, you just want to make sure you have a chair. We do use weights. You can use 1 to 3 pound weights, or maybe a water bottle or cans, so just having something to pick up. Today you see that I have some bags. They're there as demonstration, but if you have some heavy grocery bags, you could always grab them. Or if you just have some paper bags and you want to have them nearby, you're welcome to place them nearby. They're to give us some ideas of why we do strength training and to be functional about our movement. And so now, last session, so not last week, but the week before, do we remember what our strength move was? I hope someone does. So I'm having maybe a little bit of a hard time remembering.
The heel lifts?
Yes, very good, Nancy. So heel lifts was the strength move for last strength class. And I'm thinking, did anyone come to yoga? Does anyone remember what the yoga move was? Something to do with wrist circles. Wrist circles. Oh, great, V, thank you. Good. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to get a. I have to scroll through. I'm trying to get a. I have to scroll through. Maybe that was Flora. Okay, I was getting some feedback, but hopefully we're okay sound-wise now. We're good. Okay, awesome. Well, without further ado, let's get moving. So we're gonna warm up a little bit, so you don't need your weights quite yet. And go ahead and place your feet down, maybe 4 to 6 inches apart. Feet are parallel, standing nice and tall. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. Feel the back of the neck nice and long. And maybe close the eyes just for a moment. So even if it's our strength time, taking a few moments to settle in. To let go of the day so far, let go of all the things that need to happen later. And welcome yourself to your space. Take a deep inhale, open up the eyes, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling, so stretching as tall as you can. And then exhale, lower the arms down. Just a few of these, warming up those arms. Inhale, arms circle out and up. And exhale, arms lower. We're going to add a knee bend as the arms lower. Inhale, arms circle out and up, straighten the legs. Exhale, lower the arms as you bend the knees. Knees track straight forward. Inhale, arms circle out and up, legs straighten. Exhale, bend the knees and lower the arms. A few more times. Follow your own breath and your own pace. So you don't have to worry about my speed at any point here or later. All right, next time your arms are down, go ahead and stay there. You can have your knees nice and soft. We'll inhale, open up the chest, reach the arms out to the side. So you're stretching your belly, you're stretching your chest, you're looking up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, round your back and bring the backs of the hands to touch. So you're creating like a cat or a rounded back position. So we'll inhale, open up the chest, arms go back, we stretch. And then exhale, open up the back body. So just a few more times here. We're warming up the spine. We want to make sure that everything is moving really nicely before we add load to our movement. All right, coming back to stand tall. Relax those arms. Bend side to side. We're just getting our spine to move in all directions. We went forward and back. Now we're going side to side. And then we'll finish with some twisting for our spine warm up. So coming back to center, fingertips on the shoulders, bend the knees. So legs will stay stable. No movement of the legs. We're just twisting the upper body. All right, and then coming back to center, relax those arms and make your way to your chair. We're going to sit on the chair. So if you have weights there, you will have to move them somewhere else. So sitting towards the edge of the chair, so you have plenty of space between where your back is and the back of the chair. Good. And then noticing where your feet land, I want you to move your feet so that they are slightly behind the knees, so that the ankles aren't just directly under the knees, but go ahead and scooch them back a couple of inches. And begin to hinge forward from your torso and then back up. So now the back does not change shape, but we're hinging forward and back from the hips. So the bend is coming from the hips, the spine does not change at all. Do that a few times. Hands can be wherever is comfortable. And we'll begin to adding a little bit of a float of the hips off of the chair. Just being careful with yourself here. So you'll hinge forward. Again, no change in the spine. Lift those hips off the chair half an inch and then come back down. Lifting the hips a couple of inches off the chair and back down. So as you do that, you might notice you need to change your leg positioning to ensure that you have the weight in a way that feels comfortable. So if your feet are too far forward, it's going to be impossible to lift yourself up. So just making sure those heels are slightly behind the knees, not directly under the knees. You can do directly under the knees, which is very hard. Sort of a pre-squat here. Okay, now we're adding full squat. You can stay with this pre-squat if you prefer. So now as you lean forward, you'll lift yourself all the way up to stand. And then you bend those knees, slowly go back. You can reach back to make sure that you have that chair and coming up. So a couple times here, just adding some squats. So we have the squats with the chair, so we keep ourselves honest with our full range here. And watching your spine. So again, watching that your back isn't rounding. What often happens is some of this. right? We're not rounding the back. So we're doing what you don't want. And then now what we do want, nice long spine. Couple more times. And hopefully our legs are getting warm. Next time we're seated, we'll go ahead and stay seated. Give those thighs a little break. We'll stretch out the right leg in front of us and circle the ankle. So no rush to get there. Giving our leg a little break, warming up the ankles. Circle the other way. And then relaxing the foot, and we'll switch legs. Other leg forward, circle the ankle. Circle the other way. And then relax the foot. Okay, now we'll go ahead and grab our weights and come back to our seat. So hopefully the weights aren't too far, but go ahead and grab your weights carefully, kindly. So however you get things, make sure it's with nice form. So your spine is long, you're hinging from the hips or bending at the knees. You're not rounding the back as best you can. We want to rely on those big joints. So the joints of the hips, the joints of the knees, and not so much the small joints of the spine. Okay, so hopefully you have your weights now and you're sitting in a chair. We're going to take the weights alongside the body, so just next to the thighs, and lean forward as far as you can without bending the back. So there's a point where your body won't let you go any further, and that's where you want to stop. Then from there, spine stays long, we'll bend the elbows. Elbows reach up towards the ceiling, so we're squeezing those shoulder blades together, and then slowly lowering those arms downward. So bend the elbows, squeeze those shoulder blades together, elbows up towards the ceiling, and then slowly lower the arms. Watch that your spine and rib cage don't change shape. So the torso stays still. It's just movement of the arms and the shoulder blades. Might feel some work in your legs here as well to stabilize. Try and keep the back of the neck relatively long. Jaw is relaxed. Couple more times. Okay, and then take a break. Maybe rest the weights on your thighs or on the chair. Pause for a moment. So remembering where you had to position your feet to do those squats, go ahead and do that again. So reposition those feet so you know that you can get up. Arms alongside the bodies, we're adding on. So it's going to be similar movement. You hinge forward, back stays long. You'll bend the elbows, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then push down into the feet to come to stand. So I know that was a million steps in one, so we'll go over it really slowly again. Come back down, go ahead and bend those knees, hinge forward from the hips, so spine stays long. And then we're forward. So now, again, torso is over the thighs, arms are straight with those weights. We bend the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Weight shifts forward onto those feet to come to stand. So this is us picking up some bags, but we have the help of the chair. So again, bending those knees, hips go back, arms reach downward, spine is long. We're hovering over our thighs. Bend the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Weight shifts onto the feet to come all the way up to stand. Bend those knees, hinge at the hips. So again, spine stays long. There's no movement really in the spine, very little. You're leaning forward, torso's over the thighs. Bend the elbows, squeeze those shoulder blades together, come all the way up to stand. We're gonna do that one more time. So down and then back up. Let's hinge at the hips, bend those knees, hips go back, sit on your chair, hover over your thighs. You're over your thighs, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then straighten out those legs. I'll just stand, and then we'll go ahead and stay standing. Let's take a few shoulder rolls. And shoulder rolls go the other way. All right, and then go ahead and relax those arms. I'm gonna come stand by the bag so that you can see why we do these bending forward, or these squats. So if you were to pick up groceries, right, you need to be able to bend quite far forward, and it depends on how tall you are. So having this sense that here, at least where I am, the top of the bag reaches the height of my knees, which means if I bend forward and I don't want to get into my spine, I need to be able to bend so far as to get my hands to my knees or to knee height to grab my grocery bags. So thinking about that, so having a sense of, okay, where might my grocery bags be height-wise on your body, so that you can decide where maybe you want to work towards getting to that depth, at least. So we're doing the same, similar to what we were doing on the chair, but now we're going without the chair. So holding those weights, if you can, you'll bend those knees, hips go back. Again, see that my spine isn't really changing shape. I'm reaching as far down as those grocery handles would be, so around the knees, and then coming up to stand. So we won't add this squeeze of the shoulders with this one. Let's add some breathing though. So inhale on the way down, grabbing those imaginary bags, hold your weights, exhale, come up. Inhale, coming down, spine stays long. So can you bend at those hips and those knees, not so much the spine. Exhale, come to stand. Inhale, bending the knees, hips go back, arms reach down. Exhale, come to stand. Ooh, let's do 3 more. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. One more time. Inhale, bend. And exhale, straighten. Okay, see if you can keep holding on to those weights. I know we haven't let them go for a while, but let's imagine we just went to the grocery store and now we're carrying our weights, walking our bags back home. So instead of walking, we'll do some marching in place. So you're going to hold on to those weights and do some marching in place. So lifting one leg and then the other, right? This can be as big or as small as you want. So more challenged, you're doing a bigger range. Less challenged, you're lifting just the heel, toes stay down. Do it safe. If this feels a little bit wobbly, maybe you need to drop your weights, or maybe you need to go against the wall and have something to lean back on if necessary. So just make sure your body is being safe. Keep going. A little bit longer. And we're walking to our car or walking back home from the grocery store. Okay, we walked to our chair, so wherever your chair is. And then go ahead and put your weights down on the chair. A little break, you can shake out those hands. Okay, going back to those weights, you just need one right now. So once your hands are loosened up again, mindfully grab one of your weights. Okay, so we're going to take things out of our imaginary grocery bag on our right and put them somewhere up in the left-hand cabinet. You can mirror me or not, doesn't really matter. We're going down to one side, up to the other. So you'll bend those knees, lean down, one weight, you're reaching into that grocery bag. So now you have to go lower than the knee, or lower than where the handle is if it's down low. I know you probably put it up on a table, but let's pretend. And then go ahead and come all the way up and cross over. So we'll inhale on the way down, lowering, bending those knees. Exhale, lift up, cross over. Inhale down, spine is long, but it is twisting. Exhale up. Keep going. So you should feel your legs working, your arms, your shoulders. If you're feeling a lot in the neck, maybe get rid of your weight and do this movement without the weight so that you get that feeling of the movement without excessive tension. A couple more times this direction and we'll switch soon. Okay, take a little break, pause, catch your breath, and then we'll go the other way. So bending those knees, so twisting to whatever side you didn't do. So you twist down to one side, reaching low. So imagine that your grocery bags are on the ground. So you have to reach pretty low, but keep that spine long, and then lift up, twist. So we're creating this diagonal line. We bend, lower to one side, straighten, lift to the other side. And we bend and lower to one side, and we twist and lift, straighten the arms, lift to the other. Keep going. We inhale on the way down and exhale on the way up. So the breath can help us use our core muscles more effectively. So on your exhale, your core muscles naturally like to engage. And so it helps support the core as you move. So we inhale down, exhale, lift, letting the core support the body. About one more time. Okay, that's enough of that. Go ahead and come down, put the weight off to the side. Give your wrists some circles. A brief break here. And circles the other way. Okay, come back to your weights. Go ahead and grab both of the weights. So now we're going to place things on lots of different heights of shelves. So grabbing your weights, we're going to do first both weights together. So imagining that now your refrigerator is open, it's in front of you, or your pantry's open and it's in front of you with lots of shelves. We'll start high. So you have your heavy items that you're putting in the fridge and put them up high and then bring it back in. And then put them high. So I'm going slightly forward, right? So I'm not just going straight up, I'm going forward and then back. If this feels too heavy, get rid of one of your weights. Hold the weights all in one hand, or so one weight into both hands. Sorry, that one weight in both hands if this feels too heavy. You can use those legs a little bit. Maybe you're starting to feel some burn in those arms. But if it's hard to get up there, you can bend those knees, use that straightening of the legs to help get up there. Right, that's allowed. Momentum is allowed. A couple more. Okay, this shelf is getting really hard. Let's move to a different shelf. We're going to move straight forward. Oh boy, my arms are starting to burn. I hope someone else's arms are also burning, that I'm not alone in this. Forward. Okay, now we have to go lower. So I want to say belly button height. And maybe you have to go deep into that refrigerator. So you go belly button height and then you hinge forward and slide it forward, then come up. So belly button height, straightening those arms, hips go back so you can lean the arms further forward. Up. Be gentle with yourself. If this feels like too much, get rid of the weights. You can do the movement without the weights. Okay, coming up, pause. Take a breath. We have to go low. So be kind to your body. Go to where you can. Your lowest safe point. So no crazy acrobatics that don't feel safe. So you're bending those knees, going as low as you can. So we're using that same squat that we were doing, and then you're reaching those arms forward in front of you, and then you're coming back up. So it's essentially a squat with a reach of arms forward when you're down. So you bend those knees, arms reach forward in front of you, and then we're back up. Let's add that breath. So you can inhale, squat, reach those arms forward, exhale, come up. Couple more times. Make sure your spine is long. I don't want to see rounding of the back or changing of the spine so much. More that you're moving those big joints. So the joints of the hips, the knees, of course, the shoulders are moving. Okay, and that's enough of that. Take a little break. Let's put those weights down. Give yourself a moment of rest. Shake out those hands, shake out those legs. Okay, we are going to get into the backs of the legs without bending the knees now. So we did a lot of work here where we're bending the knees and the hips together. Now we're just going to bend the hips without moving the knees. So if you're standing nice and tall, feet are forward, feet are parallel, legs are straight. You're hinging forward from the hips. You see that there's only one joint in my body here that's really moving. And then we come up. So everyone has different hamstring flexibility. So you may only be hinging a couple of inches before your body goes, oh, I need to round my back or I need to bend my knees to go further. So I want you to resist the urge to go as far as you can and really try and focus on good form. I don't care about your range as long as you're ranging those parts of the body that maybe don't move as well. So we're working on adding some oil, some lubrication to those tight spots. So again, just hinging at the hips and coming back up. A couple more times. So this is like a deadlift, or Romanian deadlift is what it's called when your legs are straight. Reaching down, maybe trying to reach towards your knees, but spine stays long, so you might not actually touch the knees. And then back up. Okay, let's add the weights. You don't have to, you can stay without the weights. So the weights might give you a desire to round the back. So don't let the back round as we do this. Check out your feet. So feet should be parallel, 4 to 6 inches apart, or as parallel as possible, right? Some of us have some turnout that's hard to get rid of. Knees are tracking straight forward, so don't let those knees knock in. So the knees are not kissing. You want to work those outer hips. So keep those knees tracking straight forward. Weights in front of you. You can let your palms face towards your thighs. And then straight legs, you hinge forward, just like we were doing before. Straight spine, hinging at that big hip joint. And then come back up. Legs stay straight. So you're only moving at the range that you can safely keep your spine and your knees straight. And you're bending right at that kind of center part of the body where the pelvis meets your thigh bones. It's like you're creating an upside down L position with your body. Couple more times. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and keep holding those weights if possible. This next one, you don't need the weights though. So if you want to give yourself a break with the weights, you can put the weights to the side. Going to take your legs wide. So wider than your shoulders, toes point out to the side. So feet are wider than the shoulders, toes are pointing out to the side. Your rib cage is soft, your jaw is relaxed. Arms can come in front of the body. My palms are facing each other. You can do whatever feels good. We're bending the knees, lowering the body, like you're going to pick up something heavy and then come all the way up. So we're bending the knees, like a side view, coming forward. So our spine is still long, we're coming up. Think about this as sort of the grandchild pickup. How can you bend those knees, pick some heavy item off the ground and come up? Right, so we're giving ourselves a wide base of support as we come down. Just watch your spine though, so I'd rather you didn't bend the back. So I don't actually care if you touch the ground, you're just going in that direction. I'm not touching the ground because if I did, then I'd have to bend my back. Couple more times, big squats. So earlier we were doing a lot of very narrow squats, and now we're doing heavy, wide squats. Sumo squats. Let's do 3 or 4 more. I hope you're getting tired because I am. Go ahead and come up, take a little break. Take those legs back together, shake it off. Let's put those weights off to the side. We are going to use the chair or the wall for balance. So just make sure you decide what you want to do with those weights based on that. I'm going to use the back of the chair for balance, but you decide what works for you. Great, so we're holding on to the back of the chair. We're going to last week's move of heel raises. Let's do a few heel raises. Toes lift, sorry, toes stay down, lift those heels, and then back down. Lift up onto the tippy toes, and back down. So if this feels okay, you'll stay here and maybe see if you can do this without your hands. If that does not feel safe, please hold on. Right, safety first, that's the most important. You don't want any falls. Now, if this feels okay, see if you can lift up onto the tippy toes and hold. Find that balance. Hold up onto those tippy toes. If you need to, use those arms or grab the chair. And then back down. Again, lift up onto those tippy toes. Keep that balance. Hold, 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 hold. And then heels back down. Okay, now we want to get something high up in a cabinet, top shelf of something. So you're lifting up onto your tippy toes and then you're reaching your arms up, reaching as high up as you can. Reach, 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 reach. So you're on your tippy toes and reaching those hands up. If this isn't safe, hands come back to the chair or the wall. And then come down. Let's do that again. Lift up onto those tippy toes, reach those hands as high up as you can. Reach, 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 reach. And back down. Just one more time. Lift up onto those tippy toes, reach those hands up. Reach, 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 reach. And release. Hands back to your chair or the wall. We'll step one leg back. I'm stepping my right foot back. You can decide whatever leg you want. And bend your front knee. Put my right leg back straight, my front knee, left knee is bent. So now we're stretching out those calf muscles. You might notice the angle of your toes of that back leg. Are the toes pointing out? Is it possible for your toes to face forward? The more you bend into the front knee, maybe you'll get more stretch into that back leg. Let's do 3 more breaths here. All right, we'll switch legs. So stepping that right foot forward or the back leg forward, other leg stretches back, bend your front knee, back leg is straight. Maybe those back toes can stay tracking straight forward if that's safe on the body. Just get to relax a little bit here, enjoy that stretch. Maybe one side feels a lot tighter than the other. Maybe taking note of what side feels more stretch. And then stepping forward. Do one more stretch here, since we're here. Hands stay on the chair or on the wall about belly button height if you're on the wall with the hands. And walk your feet back, creating an upside down L position here with your body. You're getting those hips over those heels approximately. If you can't straighten those arms, you can bring your elbows to the chair. And the elbows can be bent, right? You don't need to have those arms straight and overhead. Hold for 4 more breaths. Great. And then coming up. So it was a brief interlude and a little more strengthening to do. So you're going to come back to your weights and work those biceps. So finding those weights. If you're feeling maybe fatigued, you're welcome to do this seated. I'm going to stay standing. But if you're feeling like your balance is getting a little tired, body's getting tired, you can do this seated. That's allowed. Let's go palms face forward. And then we'll bend those elbows, hands come towards the shoulders, and then lower those arms. Right, so it's just, I know it's hard, I'm wearing dark clothing today, but it's just that bend of the elbows that's happening. There's no movement of the shoulders. So if there was movement of the shoulders, you would see that my elbow would move position. So what I'm doing is not what you want. So this is not what we want because my elbow is moving position. We want just those elbows staying still next to your body as you move the hands towards the shoulders. Jaw is relaxed. Let's flip those palms now so that they are, when they're alongside the body, they're facing each other. So these are hammer curls. You'll bend those elbows and then straighten. So before we had our palms facing forward, now the palms are facing each other. Okay, give those arms a little break. So we're still going to work those upper arms, but we'll cross the body. So we'll bend the elbows, one elbow, bend the elbow, and comes across the body to bend and back down. I'm going to come a little closer so you can see a little better. So we bend across the body. This is the strength you need to eat, to pick up a fork and bring it to your mouth. I know it sounds crazy, but as we lose muscle, as we age, doing this kind of movement might get hard. So you want to maintain as much of that strength now. Go slow. See if you're trying to use momentum. You do it without momentum. Slower is harder. Couple more. Great. Okay, and then let's put those weights by the side of the body. Pause for a moment. Let's do a few shoulder rolls. Shoulder rolls go the other direction. Okay, we're going to finish up sitting in our chair. So go ahead and make your way to your chair. We're done with the weights. Sorry, I should have told you that before. Go ahead and safely put the weights somewhere. So we just worked our hips quite a lot, our shoulders quite a lot, our whole body. So I want to give us a little bit of time to stretch. So cross that right ankle over the left thigh, or whichever ankle, doesn't matter. We're doing both sides. You're crossing the ankle over the thigh. If that's not possible, you can cross your thighs instead, or you could even cross your ankles. Your ankle is over the thigh. We're really trying to open up the hip. So we're allowing that knee to open up to the side. This is also a motion that's pretty important if you're trying to put on socks, being able to reach your feet. That's always good to practice that mobility in the hips. Let's go ahead and switch legs. So undoing that.
other ankle crosses over the thigh, or you can cross your thighs over or your ankles over. So whatever you can do, that's what you're doing. Just feeling a little opening in the hips, the spine is long, the shoulders are soft. Thinking about letting that knee open out to the side or open downward. And go ahead and release, undo the legs. We'll cross one arm in front of the body to stretch out that shoulder. Use your other arm, put it in the crook of the elbow. Getting that nice shoulder stretch. Shoulders down, away from the ears if possible. And let's switch. Other arm crosses over. And release. Arms go behind the body, interlace your fingers and reach your knuckles back. So you're trying to squeeze those shoulder blades together. I just turned sideways so you could see. You don't need to turn unless you want to. And then releasing the arms, go ahead and twist your spine, rotate your spine one way, hands can rest on your legs or on your chair. And then go ahead and twist the other way. And then coming back to center. We'll relax those arms, relax the shoulders, and we'll just take a moment here to sort of settle back in. Maybe close the eyes or soften your gaze to the ground. Take a moment to notice how your body feels after that movement. So important to check in, and also so important to down-regulate after movement, especially if it felt intense. It's important to give your body time to know that it's safe, and then it helps it recover better. So encourage your breath to slow down and deepen. And then take a moment to thank yourself for showing up, to take care of your body and your mind. And also showing up to be here with the GoGo community so we can all move better, live better together. Let's take one deep inhale, fill the lungs. Exhale out the mouth, let it go. Open up those eyes. Thank you, everybody. Such a pleasure as always. This week, our move is adding on to last week. So last week we had the heel raise. This week we're adding a reach. So last week when we did our heel raises, this week we add a reach of the arms overhead, maybe with the heel raise. So you could either do working on reaching those arms overhead every single day of your life, or adding arms overhead with the heel reach. Right? We spend so much time with our arms down by our body, by the side of the body. Just find time to reach those arms overhead. Maybe every time you pass through a doorway, you reach those arms, tap the top of the doorway, or try and tap the top of the doorway, and then bring them back down. So keeping that mobility in the shoulders is so important. Thank you, everyone. I would love to hear about how that went for you. If you have questions, feedback, feelings, I'd love to hear.
I'm going to be thinking so hard about putting things into the refrigerator now. So thank you for that.
Great, great. Oh, it looks like it doesn't have your name, my dear, with the blue turtleneck, but you're muted.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Hello?
Yes, Lynn, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. It's a great class. I've enjoyed it. The last week was my first time, and then today's the first time with the weight. I cannot do a lot of the weight things because I do have very bad shoulders, but I'm getting to do it as much as I can without the weights. So down low I can do it, but not up above. So anyway, thank you so much for the class.
Thank you, Lynn. And I'm so glad you're doing the movements without the weights. That's perfect. So what you're doing is great.
Yeah.
Someone else just unmuted. I think with the blue turtleneck, you were trying to talk earlier.
Oh, I just said thank you and sorry for the interruptions. There was things going on in my home that I had to answer the door. So anyway, but I love this class. Thank you. It was great. My second week and
Wonderful. So 2 second weekers. Wonderful. I'm glad. Interruptions are fine. Interruptions are fine.
And I saw Russ giving a thumbs up. Good to see you again.
Thanks, Russ. Yeah, nice to have you back. Oh, and I'm seeing more messages. I wasn't looking. Oh, yes. Can I repeat the move of the week? Who remembers the move of the week?
Reaching up and raising up on your tongue.
yes.
Yes. Arms reaching overhead. And then if you want, you can add a heel raise. So I would suggest every time you walk through a doorway, you reach those arms overhead. And then if you want extra credit, you reach those arms overhead and lift up onto your tippy toes.
Yeah.
Getting that movement in the shoulders.
Yeah.
V saying she'll work on that. Barbara, first time, wonderful, welcome. Happy to have you here.
What is more important, repetition in the exercise or weight?
They're different. So repetition is going to work more on endurance, weight's going to work more on strength. So they're both important, as long as you can do it with good form. So they're different. I'm sorry, that's the no answer.
Most important thing is just keep moving.
That's right, Lynn.
That's a great point. Awesome. Well, if anyone is looking at the chat or hasn't looked at it yet, we put our link to our survey. Love to get your feedback there. No pressure, but if you have any other thoughts and you want to share, that's a good place to do it. We also put in a link in the chat, and it's also in the emails that we send you to our Facebook group. And the idea is, we want to keep this community growing. And so a little happens here at this event, a little happens online, and we hope to see you there.